If you found this video, you're about to receive an Akashic download of information that will act as an activation to help shift your mindset and change the way that you have been responding to your life. When you can't change your life, the only thing you expend energy on is changing how you respond to life. Making sure that you're not reacting to life. Because as long as you're being a reactor and the external events dictate the internal set points inside of you, you're keeping yourself in a vampiric system that's known as the 3D matrix. This is what it feeds off of. So it doesn't mean that you don't ever get upset, you don't ever get frustrated, you don't ever have doubts. It doesn't mean that you don't ever have moments where you don't have clarity and it's difficult for you to trust the process. It means that even though you feel and experience those things, the meaning that you assign to it is something that's going to be in service to you and not something that's going to keep you stuck. And so what I have learned with dealing with chronic illness, chronic pain, and chronic fatigue for my entire life is that if I could just shift the way that I respond to my body, to my mind, to the way other people treat me, and to the things that show up in my life, if I could just change the way I respond, if I could just neutralize the way that I respond, I can actually shift the frequency that I'm marinating in. And though nothing in my life may change immediately, but over time, as you practice this, it accumulates. And it is the accumulation of new ways of responding, of being in neutral frequencies more than in intense, emotional, unnecessarily dramatic trauma reenactment experiments where you start to behave in response to your triggers in a reactive, emotionally dysregulated way, and you don't intentionally shift yourself out of that. So going into those charged emotions is helpful, but coming out of it is the determining factor of whether you're being a reactor or a creator. Creating your reality doesn't mean that your reality is going to immediately change because you did something different one time. But if you continue to do it, what happens is the longer you can hold a specific frequency, the more your reality will bend to the energy shift that you have created inside of you and been able to cultivate it and learn to feed it and sustain it and protect it until it's ready to give birth. It takes time and it takes devotion because anything that's worth having is going to have a requirement. It's not going to be free. It's going to cost you the old ways of you responding. And we're coming into a time where there will be massive amounts of people realizing that they're neurodivergent, maybe they're chronically ill, they're having things going on where they're noticing a degradation happening of the mind, body, and spirit. And we're coming into a time where we're reaching an apex of all the damage that has been done to the collective through many of the 3D matrix programming, from food to capitalism. Okay? And so, with this, the ability to be neutral, the ability to be compassionate to yourself when you just simply can no longer function the way you used to, that's going to reverberate through the energy field in your aura. And eventually, as it accumulates, it's going to start to shift things. But we must realize that the war has been on consciousness, and the body is simply the vessel of consciousness, which has had to endure this war, which is why our body is changing from being carbon based to crystalline based. It's changing from being double helix DNA to triple helix and up DNA. And with all of these changes that are occurring, of course, we're going to see a collective increase in certain illnesses and maybe just symptoms that you never had before, like allergies and sensitivities and just things that you notice. This is the transformation alchemically that's happening in the body. And this is going to trigger a wave of people that start having the courage to learn how to heal themselves, maybe even using modalities that are frowned upon by Western medicine, which has really put us under a collective spell of not trusting the process of our own body and not being able to trust the ancient indigenous wisdom. It is difficult to trust in something that you don't have present memories of working. And I have been working with herbs since 2011. It's 2025 now that I'm doing this. So for 14 years, I have been experimenting with my body, and it has been challenging. And so the next phase in this collective shift, awakening occurring on the planet, is for those of us who are burnt out, those of us who are tired, those of us who know that things are happening in our mind and our body and spirit that represent the misalignment. Those of us who are aware of that, and we start to do the best that we can to shift that. Any of the things you can't do, practice softening into it's okay. It's okay. And just the feeling, the vibration of it's okay is gonna be okay. I have no fucking idea how, but it's going to be okay because I say that it's going to be okay. It is eventually going to be okay. I mean, every time something happens, I find myself saying it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. Even if I don't really believe it, even if I don't really feel it, it starts with the sacred sound of those words and the conversation. And eventually you will start to feel that things are going to eventually be okay. And eventually you will start to be able to sustain the feeling longer of things are going to be okay. And then the next time life start lifing and you start alchemizing and saying it's going to be okay, and you soften. And so for me, I'm not in the era of working hard. I'm in the era of trusting that softness, gentleness, compassion, kindness, slowing down, relaxing is going to magnetize everything into my life that is required for me to have a better quality of life. And to believe that right now, it is such a challenge because it opens the threshold for you to have the new experiences that we are calling 5D, which are love-based frequency experiences. This is your third eye being kissed.